Hello, am I audible? Hello,
Yes, sir. Very much audible. Please continue.
thank you. Uh, so today's session is about Industry 4.0. Myself, Ankur Dher, I'm a consultant and trainer for Z, Lean Six Sigma, and other tools like PMP, and have been involved with NPC, National Productivity Council, for as a trainer as well as a consultant for Lean, the Lean scheme. As well, I'm a auditor for 9001, 14001, 22, 27, 45001, and been in industry since last 15 years now. This is about myself. Uh, let's just briefly, before we start the actual thing, uh, many of you must have heard about industry during disruptions. So what's happening right now is a challenging time for all of us, and we are disruption which we have not seen any time in near future. Also, we have not seen in on past. So this is something which the crisis is going on. So whether in these times of crisis, Industry 4.0 actually gives you interest, because it was a buzzword before the crisis happened. It was the buzzword. It had future potential benefits for all the industries, for all positive and future thinking. It was looked as a future thinking topic. But now all we are looking at is health of our families, friends, and colleagues. So, and the financial impact. Employers, clients, and partners are looking at how we can foresee and change this scenario. So this is economical impact would happen. So do you feel that Industry 4.0 would be relevant in these times? It would be just an open question to at the start of the session itself, because I wanted to know how you feel about that. Hello. Okay. Yes, not sure, because this was a great area of understanding, where we are looking at Industry 4.0 as a game changer, and this is going to happen. uh, so beyond that, we have to consider wider economic impacts, and this has been, in reality, I will say, it's a requirement now, because the industries are going to move towards, like, uh, earlier we used to have home delivery as a, like, we were always, the small industries was looking at, okay, this Amazon has come in, they will take away the business. Now who is going to survive? Now every business has to think online dimension. Every business has to move towards providing services and real time scenarios, and to take challenges. We are working from home, so there are big challenges for all of us. So for these challenges, we have to look into the beyond. So this is how we have to move ahead. uh, So this raises a few questions. What are even top one should be thinking about? Yes, it is relevant, because we are moving towards survival, recovery, and then phase three we will be as business as usual. So this is the new challenge we are going to face. The goal for all manufacturers will be to get to phase three, as well as consultants. We have to look into move towards phase three as quick as possible and at the lowest cost. Yes, sir. Yes. So one of the examples is how we can use this 4.0. So what is the demand for products, and where can we manufacture them? That's some sort of data we need. Where our material are stuck. As an industrialist, I have to look at where my data is, where my supply chain is, what is the demand in the industry, because we are getting surveys daily, we are getting information, lot of information which is available on internet. We are getting information that this sector would be in boom, this sector would not be. So we have so much of data. How to make sense of this? How to make sense of this? So this is all. we have to understand Industry 4.0 would help us understand what is my material status, what is our manufacturing capacity, both in terms of human resources and assets availability, what is our spare part inventory, where are they, where are the raw material shipments, what are alternatives do we have, how is our finished good distribution network operating, right? So what is industrial evolution? So if we start, the industrial evolution started in 1760s to 1840, we known as the first industrial revolution, where mechanical production with basically rails and steam engine was invented, and that was the drivers towards industrial evolution. And then in 1870 to 1940, we called it as a mass production, where we used electricity and assembly lines. And till up to 2010, from 1916 onwards, we use computer, semiconductor, mainframe computing, personal devices, the internet to go for this industrial revolution. So where we are now is industrial 4.0, where we are going to talk about cyber physical systems, because we are into digital world. We are trying to transit from a 3.0 to a 4.0 economy. From the first industrial revolution, where we were using water and steam to power, then mass production assembly lines, then we moved to a computer systems, semi-automatic machines, automation of some levels, now to a completely automatic factory. Smart cities, smart factories are the which are the truths we are going to understand right now. So what are the applications for Industry 4.0? The industrial Internet of Things is one of the first parameters where Industry 4.0 applications work. What is industrial Internet of Things? Basically, Internet of Things is a conglomerate of machine-to-machine communication, where machine devices will be communicating with each device, like your machine would be communicating with your ERP in the stores, to talking about the raw material status, what are the requirements. It will be talking to maintenance regarding maintenance schedules. So this is how it is going to work. Then there is big data analysis, where a lot of data is already available. We have ERPs, we have MIS, we have SCADA, we have all at various levels. There is a lot of data available. How this data can be used by managers, by engineers to understand and replicate that data and promote how to make strategies and to develop products. Robotic process automation, again, robots are the future. We used to see in many years ago, we saw a movie called Terminator. Terminator was a movie where we first time saw a robot where they can take over mankind, and they will be, in a negative sense, will destroy. But now it's the truth. We are seeing robots in a lot of today only I saw news in Economic Times regarding AIIMS using robots for patient treatment and other things, like serving people who are COVID, right? So this is other times where robots are being used beneficially. So robot process automation is one of the keys for it. Additive manufacturing, another interesting topic of 3D printing, where they have reduced the cost of actually manufacturing by using 3D printers. We don't need much of time to develop a product. Product development becomes easier, cost effective. Augmented reality and virtual reality, we have played a lot of video games where we used to play in motion sensors, and there's that was virtual reality. And augmented reality is where we can validate our products by using simulation softwares, where we can simulate a product, a product life cycle. So these are the things which we are working right now. I'm audible to all, I hope. Yes. Okay. Okay, thank you. So simulation and analysis, again, simulation analysis, we can use simulation, we can use softwares to calculate, recalculate, revalidate our productions, and we can do remote working. Various, like we are working from home, so various engineers, developing agencies, R&D houses can use this to simulate and analyze each other's work and to update and get into the new world of simulation analysis. Cyber security, again, this is the biggest thing which would be right now. We are feeling like the systems at home might not be secure enough. We are using through our mobiles, through our laptops. There is a lot of data being sent here and there. We don't know which data to might be compromised, which software might be compromised. So cybersecurity, when the machine to machine would be communicating with each other, there would be a lot of big threats. So cybersecurity is an important thing in Industry 4.0. We'll talk in details and later. Integration, again, all these devices, the cyber physical systems, basically we are talking about integrating the biomedical devices, we are integrating the biological human, we are integrating technology, we are using hardware, software. So there are a lot of things which we have to integrate. And then horizontal and vertical systems. So there would be systems in the upstream and the downstream in the sides. So we have to integrate our ERP. We are using an HR system. We have to integrate with the production management system. Production management system has to be integrated with the marketing software. So there is a lot of integration and horizontal and vertical deployments of all these techniques. So these are the applications which are going to be in demand. As a consultant, our role would be to understand out of these nine big areas where we fall and where we can help the industry to understand these things. So this is what the challenge would be lying ahead for us. So how we have to identify these opportunities? Since machines are connected, we collect a lot of data. Data is available, like in a production shop, you have data for production register, which earlier used to be in a hard copy. Then we have shifted towards using some MIS. So the organization is maintaining, the supervisor or the production managers are maintaining daily MIS. On basis of that MIS, they are actually planning, right? Planning for the material, planning for the manpower, planning for the dispatches, planning for transportation, all those things. And even the machines, down times, setup times, everything, cycle time, everything is being calculated. There's a lot of quality data. Cost of quality we are calculating. We are calculating related to systems, management systems, lot of things, standards, right? So there's a lot of data available. So Industry 4.0 gives you an opportunity to collect all that data and use it quickly in real time sense, right? We don't have to depend on a hard copy or going to the Gamba. Yes, Gamba going is important, but if we have data on our fingertips in our tab and the daily monitoring, what are the schedules, what are the shortages, what are the requirements, I'm ready. My team would be working all around, and there is machines are also smart machines where they will be automatically doing their job, which you don't have to delegate on a daily basis. So that's how the future looks for opportunities. One example here is by using a data from sensor, one African gold mine identified a problem where the oxygen level for its people. See, oxygen level in a mining industry is a very important parameter. So once when operator goes to a mine, if the oxygen level goes down, it's very difficult to actually do the mining. So that time they have fitted sensors in his clothes, in the whatever tools they are carrying. The sensor is put it there, and it will give you the indication what is the oxygen level. And accordingly, if it's safe to work, the permit to work would be given. Otherwise, they will be called back. So this is how they are able to increase the efficiency by 3.4%. Cyber physical systems, this is the in nutshell how it looks like. So we are talking about the 3 C's: computation, communication, and control. Basically, all these 3 would be sharing information on a platform. This information is to be carried out with the communication devices, with the control systems or software you're using, and they have to compute and give that data to us what in reality we are doing, right? So today's factory, how of today's properly at today's factory looks like. It's a rigid sequence car manufacturing as an example of a production line. See, you can see workstation 1 to workstation 4, how it's moving. It's a smooth process, but it's a rigid process. You first station would do something, station second would do something. Now look at the tomorrow's factory, which Industry 4.0 is going to propagate. It's decoupled, fully flexible, and highly integrated. Means every station can do all type of jobs. So you can, on a single station, you can build a car. So that means you can use your resource in a better way, and you can have a decoupled, fully flexible manufacturing line. What are the principles based on this? Let's focus on the principles. The first principle of Industry 4.0 is interoperability. means your ability of the cyber physical system means your carrier, your assembly stations, your products, your manpower, your smart factory to connect with each other seamlessly. There's no barrier. Each one can connect. If there is a shortage, the machine says it automatically gives a signal to the ERP, which gives the signal to the store that the shortage has come. The trolley from the store would pick that material and go back to the production line. So there's no stoppages. So they will be taking smart decisions in the real time. Virtualization, a virtual copy of the smart factory, which is created by the linking sensor data from monitoring physical processes. Like we have t-shirts, we can put this data in your t-shirt, where if an athlete runs, we can calculate his heart rate, we can calculate his blood pressure, we can calculate his what perception he is getting. Now the scanners we are using for COVID, temperature scanners, these are thermal scanners, right? So if we like, I was seeing a video just previously, 2-3 days back, someone forwarded me that in Germany they are collecting that data using contactless devices. So they have in hospitals, they have contactless devices. Each patient who passes through the door is being temperature is collected and put in the database. So they are real time monitoring it. So this is how virtualization and data monitoring is going to help us. Decentralization, again, because machines are smart, we are talking about smartphones. This is the most easily available device with all of us. We can control everything from this, the lights, and also all things. It means they are cyber physical systems within smart factories, so which can make decisions on their own. But they have actually broken, like the manager has to take the decision. It has to be broken into, the device can take a decision if it's in the position. Again, that depends on the technology we are using. Real-time capacity, the capability to collect and analyze data and provide the insights. Right. And then there is service orientation. Service orientation is offering of services, human and smart factories via the Internet of Services. Offering of service means, because we are talking on not only in manufacturing sector, we are talking about in service sector, in hospitals right now. Like AIMS is using robotic technology. We are using in PGI in Chandigarh, they are using telemedicine. And there is a CDAC, central, this center is developing softwares for telemedicine, which is being used. So this means it's breaking up the barriers, and service orientation is improving customization. We can develop a product as per our requirements. Like Dell is used to give us computers which we can design according to the color we want, specification we want. We can design our own car, which is available in many organizations, companies have offered this. So you can design your own car. So this is going to be the future, where actually customization, like as customers, we also as consultants, we are also doing it. We are customizing as per the client requirement, customizing our products and services. We name it, rename it, we change dimensions as per the requirements and suitability, right? So this is service orientation. Modularity, again, flexible adaptation of smart factories for changing requirement individual modules. So this is on the same base. These are the principles. Now look at the building blocks. Earlier I spoke. So we are talking about autonomous robots. Have you heard about these robots? Are there in Amazon? Like in Amazon, there are these in warehouses. They are using these trolleys, which are automatically taking material, shifting material here and there as per whatever is programmed to given program to them, right? So they are automatic, and the most prominent one is the welding atomic arm we are using. The autonomous arms we are using in welding, for welding purposes in railway as well as automobile sector, right? Simulation, again, can be used for design. If you're designing, you can use simulation software. Crash test can be done. Driving, we are learning driving through simulation. Simulation is helping us to actually eradicate the error. We are actually going to zero effect, zero defect using simulation softwares, improving our productivity as well as training people. One of the good examples is training. Simulation can be used to train people on high end and risk prior, like in OSAS we talk about where hazard is more. You can use simulation to actually train people on these things. Then horizontal vertical integration system. This is basically when your ERP is talking to your SCADA or the process parameters. Your process parameters are in contact with the field reports, field data, and you can analyze the data anywhere in the world. You can vertically integrate it between two systems, parallel systems, or series system, right? Industrial Internet of Things. Again, this is the operating platform, like what we use in Google Chrome. Google Chrome is Internet Explorer, and Google Chrome are for internet, for us a browser. Similarly, Internet of this Industrial Internet of Things is a browser where you will be browsing all the services, right? So this would be the you can say the backbone of your Industry 4.0 movement. Cyber security, I said again, this is a critical area. We must look into those people who know about cyber security. The IT experts must be required in large numbers for this. Additive manufacturing, again, this is a very interesting topic. I have some videos which I have given a link. You can view those videos to verify and see yourself, because I believe I give this training during this lot of seminars during for by National Productivity Council. So generally videos are more appreciated in this Industry 4.0 training. So you can go through and look them, because right now it's feasible to show you videos through this because we have limited time, as well as connection issues would be there. Augmented reality, we talked about this, big data analytics. So these are the building blocks for Industry 4.0. Now, how impacting all aspects of value chain. Now look at this, how Industry 4.0 can impact human resources. Anyone, any suggestion, any input from you? I'm audible to everyone. Hello. Right. Yes. So what about human resources? So are you seen any example of Industry 4.0 in human resources? Okay. Yes. Okay. So like in human resources, we have an attendance system, right? Now earlier we used to punch, now we are having a retina scan, we are entering, right? Our database is online, HRMS is there online. If we link in a smart factory, what would be happening? When a person enters, his movement would be logged in. Whenever he's on the system, his efficiency can be monitored. So this is the HR manager can integrate everything which he does into the Industry 4.0 module. So this would help us to analyze at end of the year what is the performance parameters, what are the likes and dislikes. Even we can have manage his holidays better, right? Even interest, what is the areas of interest, what are the topics he really has efficiency, competency. So all these can be managed through these smart softwares, or we can call these augmented reality and other things, right? Factory infrastructure, again, machines are smart, robots are there, everything is available. You can use this infrastructure to improve your productivity, quality, and delivery. ERP, again, ERP is a subject we have already discussed previously, enterprise resource planning. So this is basically a basic building block of your data. So big data would be linked towards through enterprise resource planning. Global communication infrastructure, again, your infrastructure, your Cisco, WebEx, Zoom, all are your infrastructure. How well you are connected, how well your devices are responding to these, and there would be issues. There will be issues related to cybersecurity. There will be issues related to updates. There will be issues. So this has to be a seamless. If you're talking about machine to machine talking, we need seamless communication. Seamless means there's no error. There's no chance of error. There's no chance of shutdowns. So we need to be always on. It might be 24/7, 365 days a year. So how we have to manage? We have to build up the infrastructure for that. We have to be routers, networking devices. We have to look at the servers, cloud computing. Everything has to be updated on a regular basis, and there must be strategy too. So Industry 4.2 talks 4.0 talks about relationship management. Another example is how well you are doing your, like, the data is captured in the real time. So if the customer doesn't like your service or a product, he immediately gives you a feedback, and that's logged into your system, and it can be accessed and go to the production floor, to the production manager, to the production engineer, even the operator. So that's how quickly the feedback goes. Like in ISO systems, we talk about process, input, activity, desired output, and a feedback. So the feedback is the part which most of the industries are struggling with, especially the MSME sector. So that once done, this would improve their efficiencies and increase the accountability and efficiency of each and every individual. In design tools, additive manufacturing is being used. We can design. Earlier we used to take, say for developing a tool in a die shop, we used to take around good efficient tool room used to take 72 hours to say 1 week to develop a tool, or even a complicated tool used to take 3 to 4 weeks. If you have to get that material, would be a more increased timeline. But now with additive 3D printing, 3D scanners, we can scan that product, get the dimensions, feed the dimension in the system, printer would print it. Just we don't have to waste our time. The model sample can be developed within 2-3 hours, and that can be sent to customer for approval. Once he approves it, we can take it and manufacture it, right? So it reduces the cost, reduces the timeline, and increases our efficiency, and also the wastage. It also helps to reduce our wastage. So ISO 14001 also gets an input through by using 3D printing, right? Digital manufacturing, again, all systems are on systems. Again, the drawback for us in India would be only the connectivity issues. Remote areas where factories are in remote areas where the network issues would be. So then digital manufacturing could be a drawback. So the bandwidth issues, and basically the skill management would be the requirements. Sensors and actuators, what are these? Sensors are, we can use, like we are wearing the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch gives us our basic heart rate, blood pressure, and other parameters which are for health reasons, or for if you are an athlete, we are going to wear that bracelet or that watch just to monitor how much steps I took, and how much speed I'm running, or what is my stamina, what is my calorie burned, whatever. So these sensors are being used very accurately in devices, even in tools, so that we can improve the efficiency, and the operator fatigue can be measured also. In OSAS, it's a big thing. We can monitor the fatigue level of the operator, how much pieces he must take rest. There are guidelines in ILO, and this WHO has given a guidelines, like we are in COVID times. So all this would be beneficial for industry to take it using sensors and mix. And all these sensors are low cost automation. You can use it not for industry 4.0 at the start. You can use it as low cost automation to improve efficiency, right? Now, entire chain is digitized, integrated, means digital world to real world the gap has closed down. We can start from production design to production planning to production engineering to production and services. So in the life cycle of all this information is available and real time monitored. Anyone can give an input to any time. You can change, you can evolve, and you can be contributors. So it means actually it helps you to become a team player. So everyone is required. Every role is important, and it's on the real time basis. Every data is available. And now, what are the implications? How we can implement this? There is robot assisted production. This is somewhere available, but not too much. It's available in MSME sectors. We have seen the robotic arms where welding for welding purposes, and in painting, I have seen paint booths which are automatic where they are using robots. For material delivery, like AIMS is using. Similarly, there were videos like China was using for hospitality industry, where robots used to serve in. There's a hotel in Singapore which is totally robotic. Waiters are robots. They deliver food, and even the men they are using robots in kitchen. So this means robot assisted production is also a reality, and MSMEs are looking at this specifically for the first suggestion is go for the safety part. If you feel the worker safety is an issue, you can use robots in those areas for heavy lifting, and you have in material transport, even in there is driverless cars in the reality now. They are testing these things. So this is being going to be fast tracked due to COVID. They are being fast tracked very well. Now they are doing that because I've seen a lot of research going on this area. Predictive maintenance, again a good tool to use. uh, Again, machine automatically is have a brain of its own, will tell the AMC provider or the maintenance department that I am feeling these issues. Means we can identify the problem in a real time, and we can rectify remotely also. We can be connected with the database, which is the manufacturer who manufactured that machine can always, from remote location, like we do in IT, like we can have our laptop repaired offsite if it's a software issue. So by remote through virtual softwares. Similarly, predictive maintenance could be done remotely, and it's being done in many industries. Additive manufacturing of complex parts, again we are doing printing. You can see the videos to see it. Now example, what we talk about Amazon, this is there, right? Amazon is using robots, and since 2019 they have increased the robots. Siemens, they are using industrial, because medical engineering for years, artificial knee, hip joints were standardized products where they are manufacturing within 3 to 4 hours. So this means they have reduced the cost. Denture, the whole denture, which we used to take 24 hours to 48 hours for a dentist to manufacture, get it manufactured, which can be done in 3 to 4 hours. So this is the reality. Siemens has done a lot of research. You can check out some videos which have been linked to these slides. You can see how they have changed manufacturing of medical devices, based manufacturing of these parts, joints, right? And error proof. There's no error in them. Then there is Trump gel maker. It's a worldwide leader in laser systems. They have made each component to be smart. So whatever they are manufacturing, they know their capacity utilization, communication with other facilities, what are the other production facility manufacturing, what are the these production facilities are manufacturing, so they can automatically optimize each other. So this is a basic, Trump is doing a lot of research. I've shared some links. You can look at them, what their research is doing. Now, regarding Predix, okay. Predix, the operating for the industrial is powering digital industrial businesses that give the global economy. So G and non-G assets, you can use Predix. Predix is a software platform which was international Internet of Things. Basically, that is the software. I'll give you a link. You can get better understanding what G is doing in with the Industry 4.0. Examples, I have given some example. You can look at Philips lighting. Hue lighting is common example, where you can through your mobile phone reduce the lighting and increase the light. Medtronic, again, glucose, blood glucose meters, temperature sensors, everything is available. Ralph Lauren has introduced t-shirts where the athlete can use it. While wearing it, he can check the heart rate and other according to the device required, a person's requirements. Bablet is a basically rackets where they have put sensors in that racket. In a tennis racket, once you can measure the ball speed, spin, impact, location, and improve your game. So it will help the coach as well as the individuals who are trying to perfect their sports. Right? They are using in badminton even, so they are advancing their technology. uh, Optimize logical and supply chains. The corrective supply chain can adjust and accommodate, right? So basically, supply chains are becomes more smarter. You have you can like when you give a order of food to Zomato, you can track where the order has reached. Similarly, industry can track the trucks where my material has reached, which barrier it is, how much more time, what I have to commit to my client. So everything is available, right? Then there is equipment and vehicles. Vehicles are there which has GPS devices. You can connect with your Industry 4.0. Every requirement can be seen it there. Robots again. So I'm skipping this part. Now, what Industry 4.0 means for India? So we are at India. We are somewhere between 2.0 and 3.0. We have industries which have shifted to computer manufacturing using CNC, VMCs, and even robotic arms. But most of the industry would be around 3.0, not 4.0. But Department of Heavy Industries is raising awareness. There is a program called Samarth, Smart Advanced Manufacturing and Rapid Transformation Hub, which is Udyog Bharat 4.0, which is the Indian relevant thing under Make in India. The Make in India is the flagship scheme under which this Samarth Udyog Bharat 4.0 is being running, where Department of Heavy Industries is using lot of competence to increase the competitiveness of the Indian manufacturer. So they are tying up with 4 centers are there. Center for Industry 4.0, it's a lab in Pune, then IITD, and industrial engineering exports are saying that due to we are not actually at 4.0, we are going to lose business. So that was prior to the COVID. This data is prior to the COVID. So in real time, it will be changed, right? So last 10-15 years, we are not able to meet our targets of exports. Now the focus is that to develop the technology at Indian level, because whatever we have seen, the examples are of MNCs. All the examples are of MNCs. MNCs are doing it, but not Indians. So Indian companies need to improve, right? So how ready we are? We are somewhere in between. EPC at Bangalore center, and they're soon opening and one in Kolkata. Prior to this was to be started in April, but now it's going to be later. IIT Kharagpur, IIT Kolkata, Samari, Durgapur, CMTI are the stakeholders in this team. They are trying to develop. So what are the challenges? We don't have R&D capability. We don't have much of which is Indian. We are depending on some Bosch. We are depending on some GE or Trump to develop some products which are German or Japanese based products. So technology transfer would take time. We will understand. MSME sector is right now in nowhere. They have to start thinking, because industry would be giving, they want these solutions because due to these times there will be requirements. So we have to look into, we can tap in here. We can have training programs. You can use Samarth, NPC, National Productivity Council are conducting a lot of programs. We can impanel ourselves there. We can get self-are trained, help the industry to understand what are the changes, because many industry would be like to transfer once this all stress is over. Many industry will have inquiries, will look into how they can reduce and increase their efficiency using Industry 4.0. What are the platforms? One is network automation, means technical persons who has networked automation. The other is centered around smart solution to empower our workforce. So we can choose what platform we want to work, what type of things we must learn. There is a scope for policy advice for industry and government. You can be the change leaders. You can advise the government and industry where relevant industry is open for automation or Industry 4.0. You can tap into your client base, look into their challenges and how you can help them. Training of industry leaders is one of the challenges. You must look into this. There would be a lucrative, I think, demand for it. Research, again, you can support the startups. A lot of startups, I talk to many IT companies which are into 4.0. They are developing a lot of things. A lot of stuff is happening. You must use that to help those, right? Startup, that would be another opportunity. Why now? Because skill, we are the youngest population in the world, right? So skill levels are high. We have a lot of engineers, a lot of people who are tech savvy, because this is going to give us future of tech savviness. Hello. Right. So this is basically the challenges for us. You can see if you have, because this is a bigger subject, but the thing is that we have to use our capabilities, core capabilities, whatever we have. We can develop these core capabilities relevant to Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0, we are talking about more efficient production processes. We are talking about new market and business models. We are talking about stronger customer centricity. We are talking about efficiency, innovation, and agility. So we are going to use all the things we are teaching people in our standard workshops. We are talking about agility, we're talking about efficiency, we are talking about innovation. So Industry 4.0 is basically a tool which we can use all this big data and use for a requirement. You can see an example as a case study. So how a smartphone manufacturer changed prior to this smart manufacturing. Number of employees was 650, it became 60. Number of robots was 0, it became 65. Defect was 25, it became 5%, 80% reduction. Production of per person increased 2.6 times. So these are the challenges. Yes, the challenge would be the manpower, number of employees. So this is how a key components in a value chain looks like. You can look into this process would be shared. You can ask any relevant questions if you have any related to these on the WhatsApp, or you can have my number and can individually ask those. I'll be happy to be helping you out on those. Basically, the main challenge would be the digital skills. Do we have the skills that is required? So these are the benefits and opportunities available to us. I'm just skipping because time is less. I hope you are able to comprehend what are the requirements. So the big challenge would be the skill. Quality 4.0, again, you can use it. Is Industry 4.0, once the industry is 4.0, quality 4.0 would be relevant. Quality 4.0 means consultant 4.0 would be relevant. So we have to always upgrade ourselves to, because the skills are there. We are going to use the same TQM principles, TPM principles, ISO skills, which we have gathered over the years. We have just to package it according to the need of the industry. That's the height requirement. So it's basically, you don't have to banish your old practices. You have to just upkeep with traditional quality practices, use analytics, digital connectivity, and optimize these processes like we are doing right now. We're exchanging. So the biggest thing which the learning would be the skills to be relevant in Industry 4.0. I hope everyone has these skills.